Okay, guys, so this one today is about some of the signs, 7 signs of covert narcissism. So covert narcissism is also referred to as sometimes as vulnerable narcissism, closet narcissism, introverted narcissism, passive aggressive narcissism, shy. So those are all sort of synonyms. In the DSM or in the psychological literature, it's usually referred to as vulnerable. In the sort of YouTube or sort of social media universe, you'll hear it more referred to as covert. So their behaviors are typically more timid and concealed. How they differ from sort of more the overt narcissists is they kind of lack that aggressive, big, bold, overt behavior. They still have the same thinking, mentality, entitlement, exploitation, and empathy impairment that an overt narcissist, but they're just better at hiding it. They do basically, you can look at it this way: they do in secret what overts do out in the open. So in a strange way, overts are a little bit, in a way, more honest, and they're a little perhaps less dangerous because you can see them a mile out. With the coverts, they have typically a very good mask, so you can know one for a long time and not even know that that's what you're dealing with. So the one thing I really want to convey to you when you may be dealing with either a covert narcissist or even an overt narcissist or a sociopath is I really want you to listen to your gut, to your intuition. I find that in the survivor community of people who have been in relationships with these cluster B disordered individuals, a lot of times I think what they end up doing is disregarding their gut instinct, not listening to their intuition, not trusting themselves. That little feeling of uneasiness that you get in your being, that something isn't right, that something is off, something doesn't quite feel right. You maybe can't quite put your finger on it, but something is off about this person. I really want you to zone in on that feeling and trust your intuition. I tend to think that a lot of times we don't listen to that little voice because it's so quiet. My suggestion is listen to that little quiet voice as if it has a blowhorn, and really listen to that, because that is your, you can call it your God consciousness. That is your spirit, your soul, your intuition telling you that there's something wrong with this person and that they are actually dangerous. And so often the survivors mention that when they first met the person, there was something not quite right, but they couldn't put their finger on it, so they disregarded it. They said to themselves, oh, I'm just paranoid, or I've had some problems in the past, so I just don't trust. It's my issue. A lot of times empaths and codependents will tend to be like, oh, I'm the problem, and they second guess themselves. I want you to really start trusting your intuition. So number one of the characteristics of a covert narcissist is image. They are very concerned about their image. They care deeply about their reputation. They want to be viewed by others as highly moral, above average ethics, and they want to be viewed as very respectable. They want to appear, as if they have a high level of integrity. They want to look to the outside world as if they're almost saints. They tend to sometimes get into the sort of the savior mode where the rescuer, they will look like they're just, helping this poor disadvantaged single mother with, her illegitimate child, or, they're just these, they want to appear to be just this saint-like, almost like they're levitating. So they're very, very concerned with looking perfect to the outside world. And they're very interested in hiding their duplicity, their deplorable behaviors. And typically they grew up in families where the family didn't really care too much about what was going on in the internal life of the the people, their emotional life, like, are you okay? How are you coping? Are you depressed? Are you sad? Are you lonely? Are you angry? They really cared about presenting an image of perfection. If you present the image of perfection, if you make sure to get good grades and keep your perfect job, it doesn't matter if you're dying inside. It doesn't matter if you're hurting other people, if you're doing all these deplorable, despicable things. We don't care. We just want you to preserve our perfection of our perfectionistic family image. Number 2, so again, covert narcissists are very, very concerned with looking like nice guys, nice girls. It's very different than the overt. Overts often, they don't give a crap what you think of them. They don't really, a lot of their behaviors are really out in the open. They don't seem to have shame or remorse around their stuff. So they're not interested in hiding it. They don't care to. Coverts are very, very concerned with you thinking that they are nice, genuine, kind, decent, ethical, highly moral people. That is how they present. Okay. Number 2, false humility. They tend to act in a very self-depreciating way. They often use this to get validation. They'll sometimes say like, oh, well, I'm not that smart, or I'm not the smartest person at my work, hoping that you'll say, oh, but you're so smart. Or, oh, I'm just okay at that. So you'll say, oh, no, you're amazing. Like they do that in a very manipulative way. You'll often see that they act very concerned about others, but if you really think about it, like there's something very empty about their faux compassion. It's like a hollowness to it. Yeah. So then one other thing they do, number 3, they typically pit people against each other. They use triangulation. It can be very subtle. It can be very, very manipulative. Anytime you're in a triangle with somebody, or in a triangle with somebody in a relationship, it could be that you're in a triangle with, one of their parents. So it's like you could be married to them. There's like a triangulation with an in-law. It could be a triangulation with the affair partner. Anytime that you're in a triangulation situation with anyone, I want you to really take a step back and look at that and consider if you are dealing, in fact, with a narcissist. Normal people do not use a high level of manipulation and, create issues in relationships via triangulation. Not that healthy people don't do that sometimes, but it's not like a pattern with them. Number 4, the covert narcissist is amazing at portraying themselves as the victim. They are the martyr. They are highly manipulative. They're very exploitative. They are very cunning. They're very conniving. But the whole while they're doing this, they are coming across to the world. They are the victim. This is happening to them. They don't know why this is happening to them, but it is. They cheated, they lied, they gaslighted, they manipulated, they had a hidden sex life, a hidden porn, sex addiction. They did all of these things, but they don't understand why this is happening to them. So they're always the victim. Anytime you're dealing with somebody who, acts as if this bad thing happened to them, like, oh, their spouse left them and just destroyed their life. Well, what they might not mention is that they cheated on their spouse. They gaslighted their spouse. They lied to their spouse. They used high levels of manipulation and mind fuckery to make their spouse feel like they were losing their mind. So they do that a lot. So they're always the victim, right? Number 5, they do not typically, the covert narcissists do not have those extreme rage attacks more like the overt. They very rarely actually show outward emotion. You can see them that quite often they're very stoic. They have a negative affect. They act very affable, like nothing bothers them. But then sometimes what you'll see is they will communicate their displeasure using body language or tone of voice. They can do this by rolling their eyes. They can do this by speaking in a very disdainful, condescending tone. They can be very aloof, very dismissive, as if what you say doesn't matter. They can ignore you. They can ignore your emails. They can just not respond to you. They often will treat you as, they'll speak to you like you're a child. You may hear things like this, like they may say, like, how old are you? Like they can be very demeaning and very, dismissive and disdainful, but it's all about in sort of this very subtle way based on their tone of voice and their body language. And it's very rarely overt. It's not like the overt narcissist that will just go off on you. Again, more honest, just going off on you, telling you, what they really think of you. In a way, they're being more honest. Number 6, covert narcissists are engaged and they experience pathological envy. They are full of envy. They are literally behind that shy, vulnerable demeanor. They are seething with envy. If they have a sibling who is more accomplished than them, they may pretend to be, affable and supportive of that sibling, but internally they are seething with envy and a little bit of even tinged with hatred at that sibling for being better than them or having higher accomplishments. They work behind the scenes, behind closed doors. They're very subtle in this manipulation. They will be doing a smear campaign. It could be for years. You have no idea that they're talking badly about you. You could have had them on a pedestal. You could have been telling everyone that you thought they were a saint. Meanwhile, they're talking badly about you in a very subtle, demeaning way. It can be very, very subtle behind your back, and it can be for years. And they can do that with the affair partner. They can do that with their own parents, your in-laws, if that's the case. They're very manipulative. And they do a lot of stuff where they work behind closed doors again, but they also do this other thing where they minimize your accomplishments. They can attribute your accomplishments to good luck. They can attribute your accomplishments to other people. They can attribute your accomplishments to, special treatment that you had. And they tend to sabotage your success. So I'll give you a personal example. I'm in real estate sales. I've been selling houses for many years, and the covert narcissist that I was with and married to, not one time did they ever refer a client to me, which would have helped our life, our livelihood. And, if we were a true partnership, it would have been money for us. We could have, maybe bought a condo or whatever. They never one time referred a client to me, not once. Now, their family did, their friends did, multiple friends worked with me, multiple members of their family referred clients to me, but the covert narcissist never referred clients to me. And sometimes he would come home from work and say, oh, so-and-so that I work with just bought a house. Like my best friend at work just bought a house, right? Without any mention of like, oh, I mentioned you or I referred them to you. Never. So it's very, very manipulative and a very sick way to sabotage success. And unfortunately, that's so sad because all of that, that benefit would have been shared with him because I'm like a huge sharer, right? It's just a personal example. Number 7, they take everything personally. They cannot handle any criticism, whether it's perceived or real. They feel very misunderstood. They feel very unappreciated. They do not feel like the world appreciates how special they are. Remember, they're very, very special. They think they're superior and they think that they're better than you, right? So you need to treat them, like very special. And if you don't, then they feel like they're the victim. They're so underappreciated and they do not appreciate other people's efforts. If you clean the house, you do all the work on the house, you do all the cooking, all the cleaning, all the grocery shopping, if you do all the planning for your outdoor adventures, like I did all that, they absolutely do not appreciate any of your contributions. It just doesn't matter what you do. They're never going to appreciate you because they're special and they deserve appreciation, but you don't. They're very smug. They think that they're better than everyone. They're superior. They're smarter. Everyone's less than them. They think other people on a whole are boring and dumb. They don't like people. You may even hear them say that they don't really like people or they prefer animals. Mine said that. They think, again, that they're far superior to others and they do not feel that they get the recognition that they deserve in this world. They do not feel like the world appreciates how incredibly awesome and special they are. And they remember with both the overt and the covert narcissist, everything is about control, right? So they will use, the way the overts use it differently than the coverts is they will use being the victim to get you to feel sorry for them. They will be in a lot of, poor me, they're this, you should pity them, they're the victim, things have been difficult for them, or, they can use guilt, they can use all these different sort of much more subtle manipulations to get you to adhere to their control. They also use withholding of information, withholding of money. They do. They typically are, will abuse you financially, or they'll use money as a way to exert power over you. So everything for them is about control, and they will use any tool that they can to manipulate you to have power and control over you, and all the while maintaining the stance that they are the absolute victim and this is just happening to them. So I don't know if you've experienced this. I certainly have. And I've spoken with many coaching clients who have also experienced such a thing. I always forget to say this, but please like and subscribe to my channel if you're interested in getting more content. I'm working right now on getting a coaching site up and running. If you're interested in private coaching, you can contact me, and I've got some really good packages, and I really believe that I can help, just from my personal experience and from the coaching certifications that I've gotten. I think that I can help people navigate through the healing process of recovering from these toxic relationships. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Bye.